Hi everyone, this is Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Psycho2Go. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Let's get started. If you're in a relationship or situationship that involves sex, but it feels more intense than usual, one moment you're on top of the world and the next you're deep in despair, you might be experiencing something called a trauma bond. A trauma bond is a strong emotional attachment that forms between a victim and their abuser. This bond often develops through cycles of intense emotional experiences where good times are mixed with periods of abuse. When sex becomes part of the dynamic, it can make the bond even more difficult to break. A sex-based trauma connection can be identified by a number of warning indicators. When things are happening too quickly, that's one of the first indicators. It may be a warning sign if your spouse begins giving you clues about having sex far too soon, even if you're still getting to know one another and discovering your favorite films. All of a sudden, they're acting as though you've been dating for a long time and making references to topics that should wait. Whirlwind relationships can be thrilling, but they frequently conceal deeper problems that take time to reveal. Due to strong emotions and a sense of urgency to establish a strong bond, trauma connections may intensify rapidly. Your spouse may offer you a lot of affection, expensive presents, and compliments at a dizzying rate in the early phases of a trauma connection. This first stage, called love bombing, can be extremely stressful. Even if you may be unsure, the satisfaction of the attention will outweigh any reservations you may have. Therefore, before you've had a chance to think things through, you're already intimate with them in the bedroom. This quick connection is frequently just what the individual desires. When your sexual performance is disparaged, that's another red flag. Partners in a good relationship discuss their needs and wants in an honest and courteous manner. The purpose of discussing sex is to deepen the connection and increase intimacy. Criticizing sex in a trauma connection, however, is about control rather than progress. It's possible for your partner to remark things like, "No one else would want you," or "You're terrible in bed." These remarks are intended to cause you pain, to undermine your sense of value, and to make you feel unworthy and rejected. You may also experience a decline in your desire to have sex. Something that was once a fun and organic way to bond with your spouse now feels tense and frightening. Sex is stressful rather than intimate because of the dread of being judged or rejected. You're overcome with uncertainty and anxiety instead of enthusiasm, which saps the joy from what ought to be a loving encounter. Additionally, you may discover that your sense of value is correlated with your partner's acceptance. When they express affection for you, you feel amazing, but when they are dissatisfied with you, you feel worthless. A trauma relationship is characterized by this emotional roller coaster. According to psychologists, trauma connections develop as a result of intermittent reinforcement in which your brain develops a gambling-like addiction to the erratic rewards of love and attention. Even though you are aware that the relationship is toxic, you are nonetheless captivated by the highs of their adoration. Sex can also be used as a reward or a punishment in a trauma bond. One minute, your partner could be very affectionate and attentive, and the next, they might be cold and aloof. This significant change in behavior might be confusing, and you might not know where you stand. They could withhold sex when they're angry, or use it as a reward when you live up to their expectations. Because the highs feel so fantastic, this generates an emotional pull that makes it difficult to understand how toxic the connection is in reality. Using sex as a solution to your troubles is another concerning indication. You and your lover may resort to having sex to patch things up after a furious quarrel. Although it might provide short-term respite, it ignores the fundamental problems that require attention. Because sex is such a strong and sensitive experience, using it as a quick remedy can make the trauma bond feel more like love than abuse and give you a false sense of intimacy. You may still find yourself defending your partner's actions in spite of all the red flags. You can either put the responsibility on yourself or hope that they will change. It's difficult to let go of someone you love, particularly when you're torn between accepting the truth of their actions and wanting to think the best of them. This is a difficult situation to be in, and trauma bonding can impair judgment, making it hard to identify manipulation or abuse. The first step to escaping the hold of a trauma bond is to recognize these tendencies. It's critical to keep in mind that you deserve a caring and healthy relationship and that you are not at fault. Establishing sound physical and emotional boundaries should be your first step. Openly discuss your demands and worries with your partner. It could be time to put your health first and take action to break the cycle of abuse if you see these symptoms in your relationship. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.